again, it was a night where I feel like I got interest. I feel like my self amusement is very good. I feel like my it causes other people to notice, and then they end up watching me. Um, I think it was when I was out one of the days where I just literally overheard this woman say, "That is peacock." It's not even like I'm trying to peacock, but I am trying to actively self amuse myself. Right, I'm trying to actively be like so into what I'm doing and my own enjoyment and fun that what others are doing doesn't really. It's like I don't really notice because I don't really care that much. It's certainly not as fun as what I'm doing, and that's kind of like my experience when I go out. At the same time, I want to be able to share that, and I am a little bit hesitant to still talk to people. I want to get much better. I want to actually do the thing of like go around, talk to everyone, just immediately. I'm certainly going to push myself in that direction much more because it's just something I need to get over, and it's not hard. Like I feel like I'm getting much better at dealing with, rejections and negative outcomes and please leave and everything else that comes. So I really just feel like I need to like blast through that, just up the action and focus more on, hey, did I go up and say hi and start the conversation and like leave all the rest of the judgment behind. And that once I actually get into the mode of actually doing it, um, I'll realize that it's much less scary, nerve wracking, anxiety inducing than I'm even imagining right now. And it should be, and it will be, because like I'm already making so much progress. Like this is just, it is the next thing. I recognize it in terms of where I'm at. And with that, the next steps after will then come back to be more of a focus on the, effectiveness, on tweaking things, on, okay, well, not just go up and start the conversation, but go up and start the conversation and be engaging, and go up and start the conversation and have a way to connect with people when you know the conversation won't last long, right? Something where you can follow up or they have the opportunity to see you again or talk to you again if they would like to. So that's where it'll get a little more like tactical, strategic. Um, but right now, just the part of going up, starting the conversations. That's the part where I'm still, am not, that's my biggest sticking point in my own mind. It's the thing I look at and feel like I should be critiquing the most. Uh, so yeah, I'll do it. And like, I think really too, like when you do blast through and become social and talk to like everyone there, try and talk to everyone there, like whatever judgments and preconceived notions that others have tend to evaporate away because they see you, they start observe you more after you do come up and talk to them. Um, even if they didn't, even if they weren't friendly like in that moment, they do tend to like still observe you more afterwards. And when they see you like going up and being friendly to others, it can cause them to rethink how they reacted to you and act differently towards you going forward. And overall, people tend to judge you differently because they just tend to see you as more of a friendly, outgoing, social person, right? And really, when they see you doing it, knowing that they would like to be getting out there more, but they are, struggling with the nerves, the anxiety, the judgment, the trauma, the whatever else themselves, um, it's really like a positive thing, and that's what I want to do. I want to be the example. I want to be the leader for my own self, and then the example for others who see it and would like to do that themselves. And I feel like that two-sided thing of for me and for others is part of what will help carry me through, what will get me over this hump, will get me to the next level. So I'm looking forward to it, pleased about that, optimistic. The pessimistic side of me, the little voice in my head is like, well, maybe you had some of these same thoughts in the last events that you went to and it didn't work out then, but that was in the past and, whatever. Like, I'm here now. That negative stuff ain't getting to me. And that's like part of the progress that I see and really appreciate is that my own internal dialogue is changing, right? People will talk about like inner game, and how important it is, and how you train it and how you get there. And I feel like the somewhat paradoxical thing is that training your inner game also comes with training the outer game, right? That going out, being more social, has led to, or has been like intertwined throughout with these inner changes as well. I don't know if the two can be separated, right? I don't know. I believe they can, but I don't know if it's like fully separated, right? So I know other people who go out and don't have kind of the same mindset and focus on reframing and things like that. At the same time, as I have seen them going out more and more and more and staying consistent with it, I have seen some internal positive changes at the same time. And so even when it hasn't been their focus nearly to the same extent of mine as it has been my focus, and maybe they haven't cared about it at all, they have ended up becoming, like I would say, more calm, being able to deal with, quote unquote, rejections in a better way, being able to set boundaries in a productive way, being able to communicate more effectively with new people so that, it's not even seen as a boundary, but just seen as, hey, this is who I am, and what I like, and it's accepted and appreciated. So, again, I think the inner game development comes with actually getting out there and talking to people in the physical world, right? The outer part of it as well. Outer is not just like looks maxing. With the whole looks maxing thing, like, it's good, do it, but realize like it's not it's not all that, in my opinion. Period. Like I say, do it because it doesn't hurt and because it's easy. But if it becomes not easy or becomes something where you feel like it's not, just not quick and easy and fun and simple, that's becoming a big deal. Like, that's when it's gone too far, in my opinion. And in terms of how effective it is, I don't know. I don't think it's all that effective. So. I was gonna say, even I don't think it's all effective in terms of the person that you really actually want, right? Like, they would appreciate the good looks, but then also value other things more than the looks, and that is a big hint as well, right? Again, if you don't quite understand that or why, you got to be getting out there more. You got to be more social, because I didn't understand it myself until I was out there more, until I became more social. And then I saw, right, these other traits, they are way more important than the looks. Looks are much less of a factor. Finding someone you like is much less of a thing because it's easy. All good. The other thing I wanted to talk about was a quick conversation I had with my mom, where I recognized in that conversation where I was more honest and communicated more with her, and even shared some stuff that I thought would be critical, but was actually very much not. And it was a small example, but I feel like it is an example of the change that I'm making in terms of being more candid in my communication. That is a big piece to this social part as well, is being my authentic self, is saying what I'm really thinking. And of course you want to be sensitive to others and say it in a way that will allow them to be able to hear you, but at the same time you want to say it in a way that is you without too much of a filter on you, right? And so and recognize that, like, you can say things in different ways to give different effects, right? And when you can really take advantage of giving different effects with the words, with your communication, that's when your communication becomes so much more powerful. So the part today, though, the candor, the honesty, part of what enabled that candor and honesty was realizing that I wouldn't judge myself for sharing it, right? That maybe it may affect her, but because I knew I was coming from a place of good intention, because I knew that I had acted in ways that were of high character, right? That I had like done the right things and looked back on my own actions and thought, you know what? I actually did the right thing here. And in some instances, yeah, I could have done better here. And I could have done better, but it's no one else's fault. It's just mine. And now that I've learned from it, I will do better. And I can point to examples where I am doing better. And so it was about like this past work situation and just my interactions with the coworkers, taking responsibility for things that I didn't do well, taking responsibility for conversations that maybe I could have had earlier or sooner, and at the same time recognizing where in other conversations and other actions and in my intentions and my work ethic and my application, I've been doing all the right things, that I'm very pleased and very proud with what I put forward. And so, um, hey, because I know I came from this good place, when I was then sharing some of the stories with her that maybe in the past would have made me feel more anxious or maybe like I'm opening myself up to being judged potentially. Today I was just like, no, I know I'm good, and so I can speak about this. And when she started asking follow up questions and taking things in maybe different directions, it was like um, I was a little bit more open to saying, hey, that's not the way I see things, and I feel like me seeing things differently is for the better, and ended up being a great, long, productive conversation where in some other conversations I felt a little bit more separate at the end of them. This one I felt like the gap between us closed, and it's so rewarding. And I feel like she even felt rewarded by the conversation as well, and that's part of why we're getting together tomorrow to exercise and do a little walk together as well. So um, again, multiple ROIs and getting the exercise and getting the relationship development and getting the opportunity to practice my candid communication with someone even that's known me for a while, where I have had a history, right, of maybe not being as candid, of showing up in a certain way. And sometimes that can make then changing a little bit harder, feeling like that maybe it would be unfair for you to change with someone who you've been a certain person or showed up a certain way with, right? And so I feel like even this is another example of the growth and of the development. And I think even where I'm at, it's important to continue reminding myself of these examples of where I'm getting better, right? Because it helps change my selective focus. In the past, I've been so much more focused on things that aren't going well. I feel like I still am a bit too focused on becoming and grinding and working harder and improving. And of course, I am improving and want to be improving and will continue to work to improve. But in terms of where my selective focus is, I think it's much more beneficial for my selective focus and what is top of mind to be on the things that I am doing well as I continue this improvement with the same effort and fervor, but it's just not as top of mind. I think with it not being as top of mind, I'm then focusing on the things that are going well, things that I am doing well, that builds into my confidence and self-esteem, that then helps me perform better, that then helps the progression happen that much more quickly, then brings in others, allows me to help others to a higher extent, multiplies and multiplies again, compounds and compounds and compounds, growth, taking over, printing, winning, by winning. Just like all good. All good, yeah. So, working on it. We'll get there. Uh, we'll get there. Even like some of the other channels that I want to get into as well. We'll get there, but this first. I feel like this is the priority and should be the priority, and that's why I'm putting in the effort, and I'm proud of like my consistency so far. Also, like I was gonna say, I want to keep it up, and I will keep it up, and not even again, as I thought about that of like the will keep it up and want to keep it up, it got me again to focus on like the becoming, and instead of just I'm proud of what I'm doing so far, and I feel like in a very good place going forward. So I'm excited about the future. Proud of what I've done so far and excited about the future. Absolutely.